Jackets, Mr. Starck here, solo this week, in a bit of a reflective mood. These announcements this week for our last week of school and the last announcements of the year. We'll be sharing some memories and going through the week as normal, but I wanted to go through and do something a little different this week to kind of wrap up the year. So I'll start with Monday. Something that's been, with Mindful Monday, something that's been important for me during this time as I've gone through some highs and lows in these past couple months. I think staying present has been really focused for me, staying on the moment, staying within the moment. And these two quotes, as I was looking for something that kind of reminded me of that, spoke to me. So this one from Winnie the Pooh. Pooh asks, "What day is it?" And Piglet squeaks, "It's today. My favorite day," said Pooh. And the other quote from Buddha, "Do not dwell on the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." I think it's great to remember great things in the past and have those memories and to look to the future. But I find that when I'm feeling anxious or feeling some grief or feeling just unsettled, focusing on the present moment can really help me get through that moment here and now. Because as I've talked about with lots of students, and I think is really important, emotions and feelings, whether they're comfortable or uncomfortable, they come and they go. And when we can stay present and grounded and deal with just that moment, it can help us focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. I like doing the activity, the 5 senses activity, with students or with anybody, but focusing and bringing our focus to the present by focusing on 5 things that we can see wherever we're at, 4 things that we can hear, 3 things that we can physically touch, 2 things that we can smell, and 1 thing that we might be able to taste. And doing something like that, getting in touch with our senses and kind of grounding to the earth, can really help us get through tough moments. And so it's been something I've used during this time away from school, on tough days and on great days. And so just wanted to make sure that I was sharing that today. For Tuesday, I'm not going to be giving you a reminder, but doing a bit of a reflection. I said I'm in a bit of a reflective mood, so I wanted you all to be thinking a little bit about, and because I've been thinking a lot about this, about what I've learned over these past 2.5 months. What have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about technology? What have you learned about your relationships with friends, with family? I look over here and I look at a lot of symbols that back in early March, I might not have known what a lot of them meant or what a lot of them represented. Maybe a couple of them, but as we've grown really dependent on video technology and video meetings, man, these 3 things have been critical. Staying connected with students through Google Forms has been really important for me, to just gauge the temperature of how everyone's doing. And then, of course, Google Classroom has been great. And I have been so impressed by our staff and by our families and students for them just picking up this technology and being able to just pick it up so quick and be able to become somewhat comfortable with it in such a short amount of time. I just think is so impressive. So obviously kudos to everyone I mentioned, students, staff, family members. Part of the reason that we were able to be successful with distance learning during this time was because you embraced technology. You're embracing it now on this video. So I've appreciated that. And I'm thinking, I'd also ask you to reflect a little bit about your relationships. As we've had to be physically distant from one another, have you been able to stay connected to friends and families in other ways? Have your relationships maintained? Have you needed to rebuild a little bit? Have your relationships grown? Have they changed? Have they become different during this time? And then what have you learned about yourself? So I think that's important. For Wonderful Wednesday, man, during this time away from school, I have been privileged to be a part of a lot of cool moments. Some of those moments I had the presence to start screen recording and recording these moments, and I'm so thankful I did, and I want to share a few of those moments with you now because they were special to me, and they're when I think back on this time and when I think back and watch this video maybe in the future, these are the moments that are going to really stick with me, and these are just the ones that I experienced. I hope that you created some of your own memories and that you have those documented as well, but you can see around here I've got some snapshots of a few of them. I'd like to share a few of them with you now too.
We all miss you a lot. Take care. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
And I know it's gonna be.
Have a great week, Yellow Jackets!
Good evening, Stevensville Yellow Jackets. It's Mrs. Short here, and I am here to read you the Gruffalo.
Coming to you live from the primary school.
It was so nice to see so many faces today at the K3 materials pickup. It is Friday night, and I have a book for you tonight before the weekend, and I'll be back again Monday night, and next week for more books.
Hi, this is Mr. Jessup, the Teacher King. When I feel nervous or uncomfortable, I like to play with all of my cool cats and kittens. Yeah.
When I am lonely, I connect with someone I love. When I feel sad, I remember that I am loved.
Here with Leonardo and Raphael in the backpack.
I am thankful for my brother.
Hey, Tino, is that you?
Wally, how the heck are ya? Wally, how are ya?
Hey, Tino, that's you? You on the beach?
Wally, I'm on the beach, mate. I'm soaking it up. I'm hanging ten. I'm grooving.
It's always a good time. It's always a good time. We don't even have to try. It's always a good time.
This class has been so loving, so kind, so generous, and you have taken what could have been the worst school year ever and turned it into this way of reaching out from the depths and from the distance and loving each other even stronger. But I'm an old lady and I'm a great grandma and I'm telling all of my great grandbabies about being a teacher. This is the class that I'll be talking about.
Again, so thankful that I got to experience those moments with all of the people that were just shown, and there was so many others that weren't shown that I didn't have the presence in the moment to hit record that I'm so thankful for too. They'll just be stored up here instead of on video, and I hope that you have some of those as well. For Thursday, speaking of being thankful Thursday. When we express our gratitude and our thankfulness, it really provides opportunities for us to grow. It can help us become more optimistic. We can be more giving, more selfless. Strengthens our relationships, family and friends. It can help us build up more positive regard, more self-esteem, and honestly can help us feel happier. With my weekly check-in that I offered up opportunities for kindergarten through fourth grade to do throughout this time away, it was such an important thing for me to stay connected to students. And so one of the questions I asked every week was just something that students were feeling thankful for, to practice that gratitude. And it was so great every week to kind of update those as I got those responses in. I started asking for permission to post them on my website, and maybe a handful of you or more of you hopped on that website and saw this page. But in case you didn't, I wanted to share some of these responses that really brought me a lot of joy during this time when we were away from school, of what students responded to, what they were thankful for. I'm hopeful it helped them with some of these areas, because it certainly helped me to feel that those students wanted to share what they were thankful for. And so if you were one of those students that filled that out, just know that it brought me a lot of joy, and I'm thankful for you for sharing it. Which brings us to Black and Gold Friday and our last day of school, June 5th, which is a pretty different kind of last day of school than what we're used to. Or if you're in kindergarten, maybe you don't know any different. As I think about Black and Gold Friday and having pride in our school, for me, it's all about what I think our school does well, which is create a sense of belonging. I talk about this often with students. I don't want ever students to feel like when they come to our school or when they're new here that they need to fit in. I just want them to know when they come that they belong. They belong here, and they're a Yellow Jacket. And I think one of the ways that we do that is by doing this well, but continuing to practice it. Practice compassion and kindness for one another. In conversations with Mrs. Schreiber throughout this time, I was really struck by something that she shared with me, and that, you know, what she's trying to practice during this time. And she mentioned she's trying to hold and support those that she loves with her heart instead of with her arms, which is so important for all of us to do right now as we're trying to stay safe and be healthy, that we can and we have the ability to support one another. It looks different, it feels different, but it's still important, and we can support each other with our hearts, and with our words, and with our presence, even when we can't be close to one another. And then I just kind of wanted to end on this idea of hope, and I want to close out with a message from Mrs. Shore. But as I asked her to do this, she was more than willing. She was eager to jump at the opportunity to talk with all of you, and I want to give her the kind of the last word on these weekly announcements, but just say that it's been awesome doing these every week. This has been one of my highlights, even if I had no idea what I was going to do going into the week or who I was going to contact to help me with them. Someone always came through. It always had a way of working out, and it was one of the things that filled me up with a lot of joy during this time. And yeah, I'm thankful for the opportunity, thankful for all the participants that helped me with it, and I'm really hopeful for the future. I don't know what it's going to look like, but man, I'm proud and excited to be thankful to be a part of this community and this school with some of these great people that have been in these videos and that I've gotten to work with over this school year. So I'm wishing you all well. Take care. Mrs. Shord, take it away.
It's the end of the 1920 school year, and I have a quick message to share with all of you as we go into summer. I've missed having you all here, listening to the teaching and learning sounds that buzz throughout all of the classrooms each day is the sound that I miss the most. I look forward to when I get to see you play together and help one another, have fun together as you do so well. Class parties, assemblies, end-of-year celebrations, school activities, gatherings, classroom learning, field trips, and walk-ups are some of the great things that I know you've missed doing and look forward to doing, and we have missed doing those activities with you as well. Overall, this school cultivates a lot of love and kindness. You are a dreamy group of young children who've been an absolute gift to each one of us at Stevensville Primary, and you've been a gift to each other. I trust that you'll continue to read over the summer and practice your math facts. You've all shown the staff how incredibly respectful, responsible, safe, and ready you can be. So keep practicing those very important 4B life skills, along with a little bit of reading and math over the summer. And you'll be ready for next year. I have no doubt about that. Be safe, be good, be kind. You are missed and loved dearly.
So I wake up, I get out of bed, stay up, stay out of my head 'cause it's dangerous, and I don't wanna lose my mind, no. I just wanna shine like the sun when it comes up, run the city from the rooftops, 'cause today's gonna be my day. I just wanna climb to the top of a mountain, standing tall when I'm howling, 'cause today's gonna be my day. Woo!